everyone. How are you doing today? Need a little more caffeine myself. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about basil. So hopefully I can get this thing to focus for you guys. Da-da-da. There we go. So I like to use basil for a lot of my workings. It just tends to be one that I reach for a lot. And it's because it's pretty versatile. Now, as far as basil in folklore, you might hear about this herb being called St. Joseph's wort. In the grocery store, you might even see it as sweet basil, and it's also known as witch's herb. And again, I think it's because a lot of witches that are, especially are of European descent, tend to reach for basil for a lot of workings. Now, as far as the different um, parts of the plant that you can utilize, you can definitely use the entire herb. So, or the entire plant. So I can definitely use the leaves, the stems, and even the little white flowers when it's getting ready to go to seed. The entire plant is edible. Maybe the roots aren't. They might be, but I'm going to leave those out. Now, as far as quantities, I have read that you should be careful not to ingest too much basil. However, I could not find anything giving me a specific quantity. I know that, let's say when I'm making pesto, there's actually quite a bit of basil that goes into that. And I've never been sick. My family's never been sick. So just know your limits. Do your research to make sure that you know how much you can ingest, or whether you have any allergies. Definitely don't handle or ingest anything you're allergic to. We don't want to end up sick. That's not the point of this. So I tend to use basil for protection, wealth, exorcism, and love magic. As far as those different associations and how I've come to them, of course, I do use other correspondence books that are out there. I definitely recommend using them for your research. But in the end, it's still going to come down to your personal um, correspondences and what you're going to want to use them for. So if you're not feeling that basil is the right option for any of what I've talked about, and you might use it for something else, put that down in the comments so that I can take a look at it. And I'd love to see other ways that people use a basil besides what I have to offer. Now, as far as exorcism, what I'm talking more in that situation, I'm not really talking about Rosemary's Baby, that kind of thing. I'm looking at more of a gentle exorcism. So we're looking at doing more purification and banishing work with that. Something negative that I want to get rid of. And a lot of times when I'm looking at the different herbs that I associate that with protection, a lot of times I'm also going to kind of think that they might work for banishing work as well, because that to me is a protective act. Now, how I might use this in a protection spell, I might, or a banishing, I might take and use this, the dried format, uh, in a loose incense to clear out that negativity, do that banishing work I want to do. Now, if I'm trying to draw in maybe some protection or love or wealth, I might use this in a couple other ways. I might do a candle spell where I'm dressing the candle maybe with some basil oil that's diluted in olive oil for abundance, maybe almond oil for love magic. Now, if I'm looking, maybe I don't want to do any candle spells, maybe I don't have any candles on hand, I might look at doing a spell bag or creating a powder from the dried as well. And you can rub that powder on yourself, maybe brush it on your threshold of your doorway to bring that abundance in, maybe put some in your wallet. Again, trying to attract that abundance and wealth into your life. You could ingest the herb as well. It's great in all kinds of different sauces. Again, we can go back to pesto, put the fresh herb in a salad, making a salad with um, a caprese salad with mozzarella, fresh tomato, olive oil, and fresh basil is wonderful, especially when we can get it all fresh in the summertime. And it's a great dish to share with a loved one to bring that passion into your relationship. So lots of different ways you can use this particular herb. Now, if you're looking at trying to bring in some other aspects, like say maybe planetary magic, working with the zodiac and elements, some other correspondences you can look at where basil is associated. Uh, Planets, you can work with Mars, Pluto, and Venus. As far as the zodiac, Aries and Scorpio are associated with basil. The week day that is associated with basil is Tuesday, and it's associated with the element of fire. So again, for me, I'm thinking of that passion when I'm eating the herb, striking up that romantic note that you're trying to maybe establish or reestablish with a loved one. So lots of different ways to use this particular herb. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Also, drop a comment below. Let me know what you're liking, what you're not liking. Share a different way that you've used basil so that I can learn something new. All right, everyone. Be sure to check out the links as well for the community I'm working to establish so we can keep that conversation going, and have a great day. The Modern Sea Witch does not offer medical advice, only my experience from a magical perspective. Please do your research before working with any ingredient.